insane. That's so fucking... Alright, what's up, y'all? Today we're going to be doing some testing with the 500 horsepower E36. If this is your first time watching a video with this car, it is an S52, basically an E36 M3 motor. Basically built to make 500 horsepower. Right now it's probably making, I don't know, because I haven't been watching the boost, because I've been trying to watch AFRs. Basically today we're going to be making sure that everything is safe and sound. We finally got the tune sorted. There was a little miscommunication with the TRM guys. They do the stock ECU tunes, and they thought I had a different intercooler sizing, and it was messing with the maps and making the car run weird. I drove it a bunch yesterday and it's driving super good. Temps are good. But yeah, here's the engine. It's got an EFR 7670 turbo, spools super fast. These S52s are 3.2 liter, so kind of like a better 2JZ, to be honest. But actually that's not really true, because you can't make like over 500 horsepower or else it'll go kaboomy. So that's why we want to make sure it's safe. But this should be good for it, as long as you can make enough boost. I've heard that these EFRs make like 12 PSI on stock wastegate pressure, so that'd probably be like 450, 400 wheel horse. So yeah, you can see I'm currently missing a passenger seat. It's right there. I'm gonna go ahead and put that back in there so I can go ahead and data log while I'm driving, and I don't have to put my laptop just on the floor. I guess I could. Maybe I'll do that because it'll be quicker. All right, all this wiring in here is a freaking mess, but basically all you need to do is plug this in. We'll be able to data log stuff. This is the Zytronics ZT2 wideband gauge and data logger. Basically, it will data log TPS, throttle position, boost, and RPM, and something else. Oh, AFRs, obviously. This is the gauge. It's pretty sick, and you can cycle through the different, I can actually show you guys. So it'll automatically read AFR. Obviously it's not gonna be accurate because the car isn't on. You can go to boost, all kinds of shit. Leave it on AFR. Now, just have to make sure. I believe everything is plugged in. I had to fix TPS wire that I had unplugged when I had redone some intake manifold stuff. But basically you just run a wire to these Zytronics. They have like a little wiring diagram, but it's this middle black wire that sends the voltage. I recently replaced my throttle cable and I have it adjusted to basically where it won't open the throttle body at all, so my idle is fine. But I just want to make sure that it's actually hitting wide open throttle when I go to wide open throttle, because I also have kind of a ghetto throttle cable, throttle pedal actually, because I replaced it and I had to move it back a little bit because my floor is just a tiny bit rusty. Just a tiny tad bit, nothing crazy. Just you can see the ground when you're driving, but it's not a big deal at all. Nothing to worry about. So, all right. Luckily, we have no codes on here. And then we're going to test some stuff, and it actually broke because it's just made out of plastic. Classic BMW move. So I just added a metal bracket on there so it holds it together, and honestly, it's probably stronger than stock. But cool thing is with this OBD2 reader, it's hooked up to the X20 connector, and you can actually see the throttle position numbers. Oh yeah, I'll show you guys my throttle. So many throttles, so many different throttle names. Here's my throttle pedal. As you can see, usually that top part is just plastic, but mine has a metal bracket and some self-tappers. Got my fancy floor that I love. Ignition on. We're just gonna go over here, go to live data. Hopefully you guys can see this. Sweating my nutsack off, trying to keep the sweat out of my eyes. I lost my headband. We're gonna go to complete list. Now we're gonna scroll down to throttle position. So right now it's at 23 0.5. I have not tested this version with the car on yet, but it does appear that I look tired. Need coffee. It does sound like this setup works. It feels the most legit. So I ended up putting the spring back on. I didn't realize that there's a spring on the gas pedal, and it had like gone behind the pedal, so it wouldn't push it back up. So now it goes back up to the top, I believe. And I don't know if you guys can hear that. When I go to the bottom, it clicks. Go back up to the top, it clicks, which is basically the closed stop, fully open stop. So it should be good. And then it feels way more solid than my last setup too, to where before it kind of felt like if I gave it a good kick, it would just fall apart. And then I also got a new clip. We have a drift day today. There's a couple things I want to take care of. Need to put passenger seat back in, just in case I want to do ride-alongs with anybody or anything like that. Might have to figure out a light bar solution or something like that, in case I want to drive the West Track, assuming that, actually, yeah, I don't know if West Track's going to be open, because they usually charge $120 for the pass when they do both, and it's only $80 this time, so I'm not sure if they're actually doing both tracks. Maybe I don't have to worry about that, and I'll just drive the skid pad, which is probably better for learning, because I have never driven that one before. All right, so car isn't on. We've got our electronics on, and as you can see, our TPS here is now reading 15, which is good. The ECU will automatically set that to 0 and go all the way down to 100%. Mint. My GoPro wouldn't let me name it Venus, bro. Of course I want to join, bro. Literally unpaired my GoPro. Like, why? It's my only GoPro. Don't unpair it, okay? Alrighty, car's idling good. Just gonna drive around, let it warm up a little bit, and then we'll do some test hits. I moved my steering wheel. I was wondering why it felt so weird. My steering wheel's like fucking up here. I never made a video on it, but I had put fancy new like solid spherical really rear trailing arm bushings on. They feel fucking bent so much better than the polyurethane ones. Crazy how much the small mods can make a difference. Like just the new rear trailing arm bushings and fixing the gas pedal, and like the car feels 100 times more solid than it did before. Like literally like 2 weeks ago, it felt like a piece of shit. Like should not be driving on the road now because it's fucking bent. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna try and do like one at 50% throttle and then one just like floor. I'm gonna keep my eye on the AFRs just to watch if it's gonna go bad. So that was like 50% throttle. It pulled good. I didn't really watch the AFRs to be honest, so hopefully it's fine. Let's go full throttle right here if I have room. Here look at the AFR, so I'm not looking at the road. And I'm also worried about blowing the freaking engine up. Full throttle number 2. Pussyfooted a little bit. I'm not sure if I was actually full throttle. It was definitely close. So annoying. I can't fucking see shit. I'm editing this video right now. For whatever reason, this clip keeps crashing my Sony Vegas over and over. I don't know what's happening. Basically, the idea is me freaking out on the side of the road because the car shut off. So I was doing testing. And I do one clutch kick. I was like on my way back. I was like, this is good testing. Just gonna head back. And I got the itch. And I was like, I need to just do one clutch kick for a little drift. Do a clutch kick. I'm halfway into like a 180, like just 90-degree turn. Car shuts off, no power. And then so I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know what the hell happened. And I'm freaking out because in my head, like for this testing, I'm like worried about blowing the engine up. So first thing that pops in my head is I'm like, I fucking blew the engine up. This is horrible. So I'm trying to crank the engine over. It's not even trying to start at all. And so I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. And then I keep trying to turn it on, and then I realize, clicks in my head, the fuel pump. I can't hear the fuel pump turning on. So I go to the back, and literally one of the power things is pulled off the relay for the fuel pump. So I was like, that's gotta be it. So I go to crank it over again, still nothing. And basically the fuel pump relay did kick off. You could hear the relay turning on now. And then, so I keep checking through stuff. I open the trunk, and the battery is like supposed to sit dead in the middle. I didn't tie it down. And it's literally like over in the corner. And all the fuel pump stuff is hooked up to the battery. So it's like every single friggin' cord or wire got pulled out of the fuel pump wiring. So basically that was it. I just had to plug it back in and drove home fine. And now we have a battery tie down, which you guys will see in a little bit. Hopefully this file doesn't corrupt itself. Luckily, my mom is coming to the rescue. She's bringing me a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm pretty sure the wires that go to the actual fuel pump on top just stopped working. Because the fuel pump relay is kicking on now, but the fuel pump isn't turning on. So, mom to the rescue. Also, that's why we use good battery tie downs. Lesson learned today. Mom to the rescue. So it actually was not a thing on the fuel pump. Found my problem. So I guess it's a good thing that happened. We made it back home safe and sound. That was fucking stressful as fuck. And it's like 100 degrees, 105 degrees in Arizona right now. So not fun standing out there in the heat, but got the car back safe and sound. Probably better that happened right now than at the track. So I'm not sitting on the fucking track in everybody's way. I can go ahead and fix that. The battery just went flying because it wasn't tied down. So tie it down, should be good to go. Probably be helpful if the wires were a little bit longer, but I mean, as long as the battery's strapped down, it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, it seems like I got some good data logs. That Zytronic's data logger is super finicky for me. I was using it wrong, I realized, but even now that I'm using it right, it's like recording data logs that I've done like forever ago all into one thing. It's kind of annoying, but car's only making like 5 psi right now, and it already feels super fast, and I can crank it up to like 17 psi. So it's probably making like 350 horsepower right now when it could be making like 500. So yeah, this thing is gonna be a certified ripper. Feels freaking good. Gas pedal feels good. Overall, the car just feels so much more solid than it did before. So I'm gonna send these data logs over to the tuner, eat some food, take a break. I feel like I deserve a break after that. It's freaking stressful. And then probably work on the rear wheels. Just making sure I have as much suspension travel as possible. Because right now I have like 1 inch. I'll be back. Did not have to cut it or even make holes. It came with these 4 holes. It's literally like the perfect freaking size. So sick. Now the sucker shouldn't be leaving me stranded anymore. Fucking mint. Alright, passenger seat's mostly in. Kind of gave up a little bit because there's one nut that in order to get to, I'd have to take the seat back out, and I'm not doing that right now. So it's mostly in there. Hopefully they don't check that during tech. Also probably need to throw a fire extinguisher in there for tech reasons. All right, I'm currently about to rush to Best Buy right now because they close at 8 and it's like 7:30. It's like a 15-minute drive. I'm gonna run to Best Buy so I can get a lav mic and a media thing for my GoPro, so hopefully I can record like my mic tomorrow. And then I fill up this gas truck, fill up this car with the E35. Should be good to go. Hopefully this cord is long enough. I'm also going to be testing out the nighttime. See how these camera settings work for the nighttime. Should be Gucci. Hopefully I don't get pulled over because I'm going to look like a friggin' psychopath with a friggin' helmet on. These will also be the first rips with the car actually running how I want it to. Should be making roughly 300 wheel horsepower. It's like 350 crank. We'll have to let it warm up a little bit. Really hoping this setup works, because if it does, it's gonna be fucking super sick. I actually think the car's already warm, so should be good to go. Also hoping you can still hear the car. I'm sure you can, because it's pretty fucking loud. Oh yeah, car is plenty warm already. We're at like 160. Hopefully you guys can hear that burp loud and clear. Me just wearing a helmet riding around my neighborhood. I'm excited to get my exhaust back on. It doesn't sound horrible right now, but it doesn't sound good. With the exhaust on, it sounds super good, but I had to chop off one of the hangers to fit the rear sway bar, and now it doesn't hang. It just fucking sits on the ground. But I was ripping this thing earlier to go to Best Buy to get this stuff, and it literally chirps the tires in a straight line. I have the 215s on there. They're aired down to 22 psi. Might be a little bit higher now that they're warm. 28 maybe. Alright, here we go. Temps are good. Let's give her a ripper. So fucking nuts. Still scares me a little bit. Right, GoPro's still on there, that's a good sign. I think. Yeah, it's going hard to see. Alright, I'm gonna mat it in second this time. I'm honestly fucking scared. I haven't actually done that yet, I've just been doing it in third. I'll let this guy get ahead a little bit, since he must be in front of me. It is a necessity for him. It's running a lot cooler now that it's not a million degrees out. Alright, here goes nothing. Where it loses to you mat it and it hits 4K RPMs. And instantly just loses traction all the way. Holy fuck. Car got super hot super quick. I put a new 16-inch slim spout fin on here. I'm honestly not sure it's gonna be able to keep up with track use. but we'll see. See the light on my GoPro, so it's still working. That's fucking sick. Likes to turn off a lot. I want to do a skid so bad. Still idles a little funny. It'll like idle perfect and then it hiccups. Seems to run fine though. It might just be the spark plugs. I have them gapped down to like point, I don't know what it is, but it's like 0.2, which is super low. It's so insane. That's so fucking sick, bro. I literally fucking love that so much. That's so fucking awesome. I just filled up my gas for the truck tomorrow too. I probably burned like 5 gallons already just ripping around.